Hello, IB Environmental students. We're going to do a really quick set of notes for Objective 217, which is all about ecological relationships, symbiosis. Okay, let's get started. Right here, quickly, the first definition we're going to have is the word symbiosis, which you should have learned in 9th grade biology. Sym means together and bio means life. So these are all interactions between organisms of different species living together. Let's get going. Pause if I go too fast. Our first type of living together situation is when species are competing against each other, which is not very nice, but it happens. So this interaction is going to be between the populations for some sort of limited resource, whether it's food, water, or mates. If it's within a same species, we call it intraspecific. If it's against two different species, it's interspecific. Think about intramural versus intermural sports, okay? So with each of these different types of things, so our first example of symbiosis was competition. We're going to have an example. Our example for competition that you need to write down and keep track of is going to be the North American warbler, which is a bird. This bird did a really good job of having its different species types not do too much damage as they were competing for food because they all had the same niche. So there are 5 different species types. They did resource partitioning, which is a vocab term, and that meant that they ended up living in different parts of the same type of tree. So for instance, this one that's yellow, it lived at the top of the tree. This one kind of went in the middle, and this one at the bottom. So even though they all lived in the same place and had the same sort of food source, they ended up partitioning out where they lived on the tree. Okay, so this is our named example for competition. Let's keep going. Our next type of symbiosis is mutualism. Has the word mutual in it, meaning both species benefit. One's happy and the other one is also happy. Lots of different examples. We're going to go over just one or so right now. I'm actually going to pick example 2, which is our example of lichen. If you want example 1, that's fine, but I'm going for speed here. So lichen here is a fungus that's also living together with an algae. You've seen it everywhere, and that's actually why I decided to focus on this example. So ignore example 1, don't stress. We just need one example for each thing. So you don't have to write everything down here, but what you need to understand is the fungus is helping provide water to the algae, and the algae is providing food for the fungus. So they're benefiting both from one another. Okay? So because they're both benefiting, it's mutualism. Only need one example for each, but you definitely need a named example, so make sure you wrote down lichen, which is combination of fungus and algae. Our next type of situation is commensalism. Make sure you can try to say that. It's not communism like my freshmen like to call it. Anyhow, it's when one species benefits and the other one doesn't care, or meh smiley face, okay? It's not harmed nor is it benefiting. Our best example of commensalism that you need to jot down is the barnacle on the whale. Here we have the white dots here. Those are barnacles, which are actually creatures, not just crusties. And they're actually little arthropods, and they cannot move off the whale, but they use the whale swimming, and they get nutrients out of the water that way. If the water wasn't moving because of the whale, they wouldn't get as much food, but the barnacles themselves don't harm the whale, but the whale doesn't care that they're on it. Because the whale doesn't care, he's the meh smiley face, but the barnacles are the happy smiley face since they're getting more food. Let's keep it going. Our next relationship is parasitism. You probably remember this one because of the word parasite. One species benefiting, the other one is harmed. If you had me for biology, we watched a really gross video of a wasp and a caterpillar. But because I'm not going to do that again, here's another example that's closer to home. Ticks and fleas. These can affect you, but they likely are affecting your pets. If you have them, they are harming the pet, and they are benefiting because they're getting nutrients. But just know that parasites do not try to kill their host. That would make it so that they wouldn't be able to get more nutrients from them, so they don't kill. Okay, last but not least, oops, we're not going to do that one. We're going to have predation. Predation is a relationship where the predator is going to kill its prey. All right? Predator kills the prey. Unlike parasitism, there is death going on here. Sad day. So one's happy, other one's dead. Boom, boom. So our example here could be anything. Could be a gazelle and a lion, but here I have a cat and a mouse. Oh, so sad. Okay, and here's a quick review after you've made sure you had a named example and also all the definitions of our 5 different things: competition, mutualism, commensalism, parasitism, and predation. Let's review what we know about predator-prey relationships. What kind of feedback loop is a predator-prey relationship? Negative or positive? What do you think? Da, da, da. Well, I see that this is steady-state equilibrium, overall kind of stable. Okay, so that means it's probably negative feedback loop, okay? Because the predator and the prey are inhibiting each other and staying around equilibrium. Wonderful job. Hopefully that was quick and not super painful. Thank you so much for doing this. I will see you later.